let's compare these two devices. What's the difference between a 37,000 yen unit and a 4,000 yen unit? How's it going, everybody?
You know who it is.
My name is Sanwoo. This is Sweetie, and today we are going to check out the SUPR LUNR SR-01 transistor-based analog saturation device. Quick disclaimer, I reached out to SUPR LUNR and they sent this unit to me for free, and that's it. I'm not going to give you a big review anyway because I'm not an expert when it comes to distortion, so all I'm going to do in this video is send some sounds through this device and listen to them. And I think it's up to you to make up your own mind if you like the sound of this or not. Either way, let's get started. We're gonna start with a pocket operator. And you hear some whining here. That is, I think, something in my power lines right now. So disregard that, it's not the pedal. So this is the bypassed signal right now. Let's turn on the SUPR LUNR, and you're not gonna hear a big difference yet because all the controls are in neutral. Yes, this is the gain of the first stage where the soft clipping magic happens. That's what the manual says. Then A controls the input level of the pedal. Fully clockwise is for instrument level. Fully counterclockwise is for line level. So this. We turn it up a bit because we want to blast some sounds. C is the bias control of the second stage transistor. Counterclockwise is the standard setting. And turning the knob clockwise reduces the power going to the transistor, creating a gated Velcro fuzz. And the lines indicate sweet spots. All right, let's boost this a little more. Then we got F, which is a low pass filter. Now it's open, and let's close it. You can already hear it quite a lot. This is good for taming the distortion. And you can hear we are losing a lot of level right now. So you always gotta compensate, which I'm not gonna do a great job at. Yep, sounds good so far. And definitely these two controls I've already noticed interact quite a lot. So if my bias is on normal, the filter changes aren't as drastic, but if the bias is all the way up, I almost get no signal when the filter is down. Whereas if the filter is down with the bias all the way down, I still get quite a lot of signal. Let's turn the bias up again. Now it's almost all gone. So there's interplay, and you will have to find what works with each other. All right, then we've got a high pass filter. Does what a high pass filter does. And we've got the fuzz mode button, which increases the gain even further. Yeah, and that's where we get into the fun territory. This is the stuff I like. You get these weird noisy crackles on some settings. Which works really well with the rhythmic nature of what's going in. And lastly, I don't know if I mentioned this, this is the output volume. So if you gotta compensate for anything that's happening here. Now let's get some other stuff in there and use the OP1 to play some synth. And now let's turn this on. You see here with the filter down and this one on, we can hear almost nothing. Whereas if the filter is down now, we can still hear quite a lot. Let's find another sound. And that's where I think I'm going to change things up. And that is because with distortion, I always find it to be highly subjective what is good distortion, because it really just depends on what's the sound you are going for and what sounds pleasing to your ears. So that's why I want to compare this unit with another unit that I bought. So I saw this in a shootout video and I really liked the distortion. It was a super cheap unit, which is why I bought it. I think I paid something like 4,000 yen for it. So what is that? $30 about. This pedal, on the other hand, sells for 37,000 yen, I believe, which is quite pricey for a distortion unit. However, if you like the sound examples and this pedal does exactly what you want from a distortion unit, then of course it doesn't really matter. But if you just want some kind of distortion, then there are much cheaper units out there. A cheap mixer can distort your signal, a cheap guitar pedal can distort your signal. So it really depends. Do you have the nuanced knowledge of distortion for this to be worth it for you or not? Because otherwise, yeah, just go with something cheaper for now. But of course, if you are a connoisseur when it comes to distortion units and this is exactly what floats your boat, then why not go for it? I really like the design of it. The company seems to be a design firm first, and from what I can see, this is their first hardware audio unit. They have made some Ableton devices and are doing prints and selling books and t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. Pretty sweet t-shirt. So thanks guys. But yeah, let's compare these two devices. What's the difference between a 37,000 yen unit and a 4,000 yen unit? Let's turn this off for now. I want to go back to this example first because I only got to press play and it's on. All right, let's go with this one first. I think you get the point. And now this one. So on this particular sound example, I would say I prefer this unit just because it gives me whatever I'm looking for a lot easier than this one does. Like no matter where I turned the knobs in this example, I think it always sounded pretty nice. But again, distortions also depend on whatever you are feeding into them. So let's feed some other stuff into it. Let's go with this one again. And now this one again. I like this sound. Let's turn the fuzz mode on. Yeah, this setting is really nice. Gotta remember that. Yeah, in this case, I would say this one may win out with this sound, just because I find you can dial in just whatever suits this sound best. Probably part of that is the high pass filter. Yeah, that I can have two filters at the same time, because here I can only have the tilt, the tone tilt, whereas here I can have the high pass and the low pass is also closed right now. And now lastly, let's send the drums through it again. Here I really like the filter or the EQ more on the high side. Also very interesting. Yeah. Now let's hear the other pedal. And here I really like the grainy noisiness that comes in with this pedal. It almost adds another layer of percussion. has a gated effect. So to conclude, I think the pedal sounds really nice. I think the design is, of course, very well executed. It is on the pricey side, but if it does what you are looking for in a distortion pedal, then why not go for it? Some things to mention when dialing in sounds. I think it can sometimes take a little more time to find the sweet spots than on a pedal like this, at least for me. So maybe you have to go through a little more of a search, especially with the combination of different parameters to get to where you want to get to. But of course, that also means that there maybe is a wider range of possibilities and you can get more varied sounds out of this than out of this. In regards to the build, these I think are metal potentiometers. Here we have plastic trim pots, which I don't know if I like this decision or not, especially for people who are using this on stage. This might be a concern that they break easily. You probably can replace them easily, but I think something more sturdy here would make sense. These buttons up here feel nice and responsive, and so does this one. Very sturdy. So overall, I think the unit feels very nice. It sounds very nice, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this unit? Does it sound nice to you? Do you have any questions about it? Feel free to let me know down in the comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, have a wonderful time. Thanks to SUPR LUNR for sending that, and peace.